Hello and welcome to our Retire Early lifestyle. We're exposing the 5 countries where the expat dream faces imminent collapse in 2026. At some point, we have to go beyond the glitz and glamour, right? Stick around as I reveal 5 seemingly idyllic destinations where expat life will completely implode in 2026. And trust me, you'll want to know if your dream country is on the list. Let's begin. Germany. Germany is a beautiful country and has always been a great expat country, but Germany sits on a powder keg right now. And before you write this one off as in, no, Germany's not on my list, please keep in mind that Germany is a proxy for Europe, in that it has historically been its seat of economic and political activity and the large segment of the European population. And if it's happening in Germany, since it's in the borderless European Union, then it should be considered as possibly spreading from there into other areas of Europe. So with that, let's continue. Germany has rising violent crime rates compared to just 5 years ago. Robbery has increased in Berlin, where most expats reside, a staggering 35%, and stabbings have increased by 50% since 2019. The Interior Minister of the Western state of North Rhine in Germany has admitted the mood in German society has changed. That is what we'd call the hidden message of civil unrest. He says conflicts are solved more quickly with fists instead of words. In short, Germany has become one big powder keg, he said. The German government needs to listen to their citizens because just like anywhere else in the world, the people are sick and tired of the illegal invasion of their country. Can you blame them? There are civil protests happening in the bigger cities. If any expats already live in the cities, you might want to consider staying far away from these civil protests. Imagine waking up one day to find your perfect expat life in ruins in the country you thought was perfect. Is that even possible? Absolutely. The expat dream is crumbling in Germany and other parts of Europe, and time's running out. Get this, German officials even admit that migration invasion is a big factor in the rise of violent crime in their country. It's understandable. The citizens are getting angrier by the day. This is not the Germany of yesteryear where nothing bad happens. Now you gotta keep your wits about you and constantly stay on your guard when living in the big cities of Germany, where most of the expats invariably end up. You think moving to Germany would be your idyllic dream come true? Think again. When an official says the country has become like a powder keg, he is saying the country could explode into civil unrest at any moment, which it is already starting to look that way. There was once a certain president that said, if you don't control migration, you're going to lose your identity and stability, and Europe won't be Europe anymore. Well, by the way, we do have a couple of longtime followers that live in Germany that might be able to give us a boots-on-the-ground update. Moving on to Mexico. Isn't Mexico our little darling? Actually, we love the Mexicans. We love the climate, the beaches, the prices. What we don't love is being the Americans getting targeted by the bad apples. We don't like that. And we know this firsthand living in Baja, Mexico for 3 years. We had several close encounters with bad apples, so we're not taking anything too lightly here. Sure, you're in a tourist resort and it seems safe until it's not. It always seemed quite safe to us too, but there is an underbelly lurking in Mexico that you don't see. And yes, even in the tourist areas. Americans love traveling and living in Mexico, and that has been going on for many decades. But what happens when you feel unwelcome and when crime seems to just be out of control in some of the tourist areas now? Namely Puerto Vallarta, Cabo San Lucas, Cancun, Mazatlan. They've all seen more peaceful days. Thirdly, there is now some civil unrest in certain areas of Mexico because the Mexicans are fed up with the cartel violence. Can you blame them? We just wonder what took them so long to finally come out and speak their piece. Unfortunately, some of these protests have gotten violent. The people appear to have had enough and have progressed from nonviolence to sporadic violence. After suffering violence for so long, they seem to be reciprocating the same. The possibility of violence while vacationing in Mexico has increased dramatically. Moving on to our next country, Spain. We touched on Spain a few videos back about how they're biting the hand that feeds them with all of their new silly touristy regulations. No smoking on the beach, no drinking after 9 p.m. in some locales, no wearing flip-flops, no taking selfies in front of popular tourist monuments, no this and no that. Okay, we get ya. The tourist money machine. But the expat or tourist should also see why they must enforce these regulations. It's because tourism has gotten out of control. Italy is doing the same silly rules in some areas. Do you really want to be around a bunch of hooligan tourists who don't respect property, the people, or themselves? Because that's who does dumb things when they're on vacation, and really, it ruins it for everyone else. As bad as all those silly no-nos sound, the real biggie that put the last nail in the tourist coffin was when the government eliminated the property for investment golden visa scheme. Excuse me. They all sent the expats to Greece. Let's move on. Next, Thailand. Thinking of packing your bags and becoming an expat in Thailand? Hold on to that thought. While social media paints a picture of Thailand being paradise, the reality is Thailand is about to hit rock bottom, and it has for a while now. The climax on Thailand was reached a few years ago, and it has steadily been going downhill in terms of its older glory days as an expat haven. Thousands of expats have already left for a multitude of reasons, with the biggest being stricter visa regulations, which is causing big changes for expats. The expats that are already there, that have somewhat established their lives, are now being told they need to get different documentation to remain as an expat. What? Are you kidding? No, we're not kidding. Remember, we've always said on this channel that these countries change in a twinkle of an eye. Well, Thailand is the perfect example of that. Stricter visa regulations. Reports indicate that changes in visa policies are causing disruptions for long-term residents who may find themselves needing different documentation to stay. They constantly make retroactive changes in their visa policies, and they're not for the benefit of the foreigner moving there either, but for their own benefit. Renewing has become a nightmare for many expats already living there because of these visa changes. Let's take a quick look. Increased fees. Compliance regulations. Changes in compliance requirements means expats must navigate more complex rules regarding residency, threatening their ability to live and work legally in Thailand. Ambiguity in enforcement. The enforcement of visa rules can be inconsistent, leading to confusion among expats, which complicates efforts to remain compliant. And here's some of the key changes in their visa policies. Tighter visa regulations. That includes the introduction of additional documentation and more rigorous eligibility criteria, and limitations on extensions. Policies regarding visa extensions have become more stringent. Expats may face challenges trying to renew their visas, leading to uncertainty about their residency status. Now, even little things that may not be that noticeable mean a lot. For example, when we were in Ecuador, they retroactively made expat birth certificates expire so that expats had to spend hundreds more and wait more weeks and cross other deadlines, making their immigration experience unbearable. By the way, if you see the country of your choice doing things like adding expiration dates on documents that transcend expiration, like the day I was born does not expire, it's just a written fact, that's usually a tactic of socialist governments. And a word to the wise, be warned, run as fast as you can. You see, these countries learn as they go. How can we benefit monetarily from all of these tourists? Oh, I know. Let's start charging them new fees for different documents they'll need. Let's put expiration dates on documents that don't ever expire. So that's what's happening. Besides all that, expats are leaving because they realize they'll never speak Thai, never fit in, and will always be the Farang. Plus, I really think they're tired of Asian food and exorbitant prices on hamburger and french fries. So why don't the promoters tell you the stuff that really matters? That's like asking an old dog to do new tricks. It can be done, but highly unlikely. They want us to stay in this fantasy land, but for most expats, the fantasy turns into a nightmare of horrors. Prices have increased exponentially in Thailand, as they always do in these countries. Foreigners are often the targets of Farang gouging, and some expats didn't even realize the extent of the pollution in Asia. It's difficult to breathe, especially for some people. Thailand is losing out because they too are biting the hand that feeds them, as we just showed you. Moving on to our last country, France. This once lovely country, considered the expat paradise for many, has turned into an expat nightmare for many. Let's put it this way: France is Germany on steroids. Look at Paris. This once glorious city has collapsed into violence. What were we saying earlier about Europe? Have you noticed 3 of these places are in Europe? Here's France compared to New York, a notoriously violent city in the USA. My. For the many expats that already live in France, and for those that want to move there, the cities such as Paris have become more unlivable by the day. Of course, you can move into a quaint, secluded little valley where not much is going on, but most people don't want to live in a small, secluded area. Just a little digging goes a long way, folks. We're told by the rams and social media how livable France is. But folks, we've been led down the wrong road. You thought the U.S. has crime. Well, take a look at this. Unless something changes drastically, we don't see it getting any better either. Like Germany, we're seeing a total economic, political, religious, and social upheaval. But this one is on steroids. The French want to leave their own country. The political and social climate has gotten that bad. It's unfortunate that these once desirable locations have lost their shine and have become expat traps. These snares will become more apparent as we get into 2026, unless they make a sharp turn, which all we see is stubbornness. Are you being stubborn, France? There are more countries that will see a huge decline in tourism. Will they collapse too in 2026? Well, I suppose we'll have to wait and see on that one. That's it for now. Short and sweet and to the point. Stay safe, everyone. Take care, and bye-bye.